I am the best. Okay, no, not me. I don't mean it. I'm actually just quoting President William Ruto, who earlier this week rolled up for himself a big, beautiful gift of attributes, combining all the 4 presidencies before him. From Jomo Kenyatta to his son Uhuru Kenyatta and everyone in between, President Ruto delivered a detailed self-appraisal, crowning it with the declaration that he is the first person of his academic qualifications to occupy State House. We have the self-appraisal report. Online, the eCitizen appraisal is not looking good, as the Auditor General reveals that over 40 billion shillings cannot be accounted for on the government's services digital platform. On the foreign front, an appraisal is coming up in the United States Senate that could result in the downgrading of Kenya's status as a major non-NATO ally. Apparently, China is the matter at issue. We have that diplomatic report.
I have combined all my predecessors, you know. I have the courage of Jomo. I have the understanding of Moi. I have the education of Kibaki. And I have the plan we shared with Uhuru Kenyatta. I have no excuse than to do everything that needs to be done in this nation.
Oh my God!
I may not be your best, and I don't claim to be, but I'm the one you have.
So journalism in its sense has really improved in our country, and newscasters like Yvonne Okwaro have pushed the needle, and they are pushing the game forward. They have allowed journalists that nowadays journalists can also think. They're not just people who just read a script or read from a teleprompter. And what Ruto said was very outrageous, because he claims to be the best. Yes, he claims to be the best. He feels like he's the best. Like in his brain, in his narcissistic thinking, he knows he's the best because of the PhD, because he knows he knows the Bible more than Uhuru, he knows the Bible more than Ruto, you know. And the reason he feels like he's the best is because he's the most educated, the PhD thing, because he's the most educated among them all. He is the most religious among them all. He's gone to church more than all of them. We can say for looting, Kenyatta, the first Kenyatta looted more than him. So there, I think maybe he's number 2. For lies, he's number 1. Like he's number 1 in all the positives and all the negatives. And in most of the negatives, like the extremely high negatives, he's really, really outshining those people. Like whatever he's doing, even more he couldn't think of. Like he's so creative in the looting that some of the ideas he has, even more he couldn't come up with. Even Uhuru couldn't come up with. Like the citizen stuff. Like you see how it was executed. It was executed in the most genius way possible. Because his name doesn't appear there, but you know that money, they couldn't lose 40 billion without involving the president. That's for sure. You can't steal 40 billion without, because for the CBK to sign anything past $1 billion, the president must put a signature, must append it. So for you to steal anything past $1 billion, you must involve the president. So you can use pseudos, you can use like offshore accounts, but the president has to know whenever you're looting something, anything more than $1 billion, because the CBK knows. So for it to work, the CBK governor must be his friend that he'll use. The guy at finance must also be his friend. And our CBK has become like Ruto's personal wallet. That's why our country is this fucked up. And for him to come up and say that he's the best at what exactly? Because we can agree with him. Yes, he's the best at doing the worst shit possible. He's the best at taking our country to China, like selling our country to China. Because you can imagine for him to make a deal with Biden, then change on that deal a year later and choose China. I don't think it's about the trade. There's something deeper. There's a loan China is going to give him, and it won't reach our country, because that's how China takes control of most of these countries. They know that most of our presidents are fools who will just take loans for the country, and it won't be used in the country. And China's really, I think, as someone giving debt, I think I used to be against the IMF and World Bank, but China is among the worst and the most ruthless. They give crazy interest rates, like the crazy ones Uhuru took. They give crazy conditions, but our president and those people in finance, with all their degrees, they never read the fine print. They never read the fine print. So when it comes time to pay the debt that wasn't used in our country, obviously we can't pay because it wasn't used in the country. The country won't have the capacity to pay. So what happens? They borrow more to pay the existing debts. So just a cycle. Then after a while, when you can't now borrow more, they have to sell maybe a port. They may have to sell maybe the airport. So it's just a crazy loophole. And for a guy, I can say on other sectors is really trying. Another sector is really like you can see some passion in the housing fund, and the passion is it misinformed? Yes, but is he fighting for the country? Or is he fighting for himself? That becomes the bigger question you always have to ask when it comes to this guy, because who do you think he puts first? It's never country. It's himself, his family, and how much can you steal from a country for you now to be say that okay, I've stolen enough? Because one thing for sure is that he won't address the eCitizen thing, and if he addresses it, maybe he'll sack those people and reappoint them because he reappointed everyone that was corrupt. Everyone that was corrupt was reappointed by him. So you can't say that he has the will or the capacity to fight corruption. That's something that he can't. Like even if we like, it's almost like a fighting dead war. And he'll continue blowing his trumpet for a very long time because in his mind he feels like he's the best because how his mode of comparison is looking at like, oh god, Moi wasn't well read, Kenyatta wasn't well read, Uhuru wasn't well read, Kibaki wasn't well read. Oh, I'm a professor, the only professor who is a president, and that's the only thing is hitting the ground with running. And you can have someone that wasn't as learned but is at least ethical, like the guy in Burkina Faso. I don't think he's a professor. I don't think he knows the entire Bible, but at least he has ethics. And with time, even based on what he's doing for the country, he'll be richer than Ruto sooner or later, based on how tactful the choices he makes. Someone like Kagame is most likely richer than Ruto, based on how tactful he is. But you can't loot a country to poverty for you to become rich. I don't think it's the best tactic. You can make that country wealthy, and in turn, your assets, your investments also increase. But we have a guy that doesn't believe in investment because which company does he have that doesn't deal directly with the government that is successful? That becomes the test. Which company does he have that doesn't buy or sell to the government that is successful? Most of the things he has, they sell to the government. The Weston, I'm sure most clients, it's government that gives Weston most of the deals. It's government that gives the Starbucks thing most of the deals. So that becomes the bigger question. Why can't you just create a perfect environment for other businesses to thrive?